Okay, here's the devil, and I'm going to take you on a small journey so that you can understand some of the information that is available to you in your pre-ride planning for the Tour de Pink. And simply, it starts by you turn on your computer. That you speak softly to it and rub it and say nice things to it. And when you have your computer on, you go to your web browser and open up the Young Survival Coalition web page. On that page, go up and look under Get Involved. Ride in Tour de Pink. And now you can see a page where you have choices of the three rides. Well, we've already done the South, so the next one that's coming up at the time of this printing is the East. And we have a lot of riders there, and people have a lot of questions. So we'll go to the East and see what we can see. Up on the course now you see there are different tabs, and we're going to look at the route. Under the route you have a number of choices. Thursday is a non-riding day. That's you're getting to the hotel, and you have the 3 days that you can select. You can select each one individually and do the same thing we are about to do for each one of the days. So I'm going to select Friday for a couple of reasons. One is it's the one where you have a choice of riding a metric ride or the Century ride, and I'm going to pick the Century ride. And the page with Ride with GPS opens, and I see a big map. That's the course map. But there's much more information to be obtained, and I'm just going to give you a brief overview. You can play on the site and do all sorts of things, but I'm going to give you just what you need to get by for now. Over on the upper left, you'll see a little arrow. Open that. And on the right, you'll see another arrow. We'll open that one too. So on the left, now let's go back to the left, you can see there's a cue sheet tab, and you don't need to print that out. Don't do anything with that. It just happens to come up here. We will provide cue sheets for you at the ride, which will contain the most up-to-date information, because we have to deal with things like road closures and other things that are beyond our control, and we keep them up to date for you. You can also look under details. It has a segment. I don't know if this is tied in with Strava or whatever, but it has a segment in there, and it shows you that there's a little climb. It's 0.65 miles, which is a kilometer at 3%. We'll discuss that later. I'm going to close this side out because that's all I want to talk about that right now. On the right, on the tabs, you can look at the overview, and you can see just some, you can read what you can read. And you can see some various little information. It tells you what the distance is, what the elevation, and by the way, if you start and stop at the same place, the elevation gain should be the same as the going down, plus or minus a few feet, depending upon that. And it has estimated time. That's if you're driving a car at 25 miles an hour. And there are other things down here at the bottom that you could play around with. We don't have time for here, and you can talk about send to your device. You can see what that does for you. But I'm going to now click on the next tab for metrics. Once again, it's pretty much the same information as on the other page. The maximum grade is 7.5% somewhere along the line, and if you point to it, you'll see down on the bottom of the map it shows you where that is. Okay, it's just playing here. And finally, a very important page is called the export page. And on this page, it has a number of options that if you have a device that will help you with mapping and guidance, you can download the information from this page to that device. For example, the FitCourse FIT is best used for Garmin Edge devices, and you have choices on that. You can notify yourself before the turn, and you can change the distance for notification, like just like that, and download it and put it in your device. You also have an option for a TCX course, which is used for some other GPS units, uh, depending upon what you use. And if you scroll down, you see there are other options. And one of my favorites is you can download the Google Earth and see what it looks like on the Google Earth file. So I'm going to close this out. Now I'm going to look at the map. You see here we have a map with the A's representing where each one of the rest stops are. And go down to the bottom left. That's where we start. Go down to that little elevation thing. Now you'll see that the elevation here, again, maximum elevation is about 200 feet. And it's the scale makes it look like it's higher and more daunting than it really is. But if we start to scroll down here, you can follow the little blue ball on the map and see where you are. So you go down, we start at the hotel, we go downhill a little bit of rollers, and we get to this point at 7.7 miles where we're going to see a little bit of a downhill. And woo, you go downhill. And go downhill for about half a mile. And then you got a little bump. You come up again. And you go up to 102 feet. And you go down again. Now at this point at mile 10.5, if you look at this scale, you say, oh boy, look at that hill. Well, it's starting at 38 feet going up to 200 feet. And if you look at the number on the bottom here of this data, it tells you what the elevation percentage is. And that's an important thing in cycling. For example, 1% is you go up 1 foot every 100 feet in distance, which is almost flat. So we have very low numbers here, and we can go along until we get to the first rest stop. There it is, at mile 19.8 or so. And we keep on going. And we have a little bit of a downhill again, a little bit of up and down until we reach this point here where it looks like we're going to be going into a bit of a trough. So we're starting out at 100 feet and we go downhill, an easy ride downhill, easy, easy, easy. And we got to regain some of that altitude, just going along relatively smoothly. Now, when we get down here, this looks like a monster, but it's only 61 feet elevation starting here to 167 or 190 feet. That's our rest stop at the hotel. That's our last entrance into the hotel. So if you're doing the Century, you ride along for 88 miles, and then you you're at the hotel, and it's a rest stop. Don't quit. Keep going. Keep going on. And you go on and you do a little bit more of a loop and come back. And you have a little bump that goes up to the hotel. And that's done very purposely so that when you get up there to the top and you're done, it makes the refreshments at the bar taste that much better. Now, one of the other things you can do here is you can go up here to this area where it says map. You can click on it, and you'll see that there are other options. You can see what it looks like on a satellite. You can see what it looks like on a different type of mapping. You can look at various choices, which I don't really think help us that much. I like the map. I just like to stick with the map. And if you zoom in one or two times here, then you can really get some detail as to where you are. So you go zoom in and go along here at the bottom, and here's the ball. It's appearing, and it shows where our elevation is. That little dip comes right before Stony Brook University. Come downhill, a little bit of an uphill at the college, I guess, or near the college, and then we go around and up. There's our high point right there. The whole ride is at mile 14.4, near Port Jefferson. And you can then just play around with this thing, zoom in and out, do all sorts of things that will make it look that can be a lot of fun and take a lot of your anxiety out before you get to the ride. So this is a very simple and brief overview of what how to use Ride with GPS to get to it, and when you're done, you should have a much better idea. There are so many different tabs and things on here that you could use. I'm not familiar with all of them. It doesn't really matter. I don't know what the heck these things do for you. So I just use the basics, and I'm trying to pass them on to you. So enjoy that and have fun.